Good morning. Welcome back to the Shire Shed. Today I got another review for you, and this one I've actually been holding off on. I haven't even tried this one, so this is going to be a legitimate first impression. And today it's going to be Jensen Dark-Fired Kentucky. And you guys know that I do love me some Dark-Fired Kentucky. I'm really excited to try this one, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to jump right into it. Pretty excited about this one. I'll see you in a second. Welcome back. Okay, so very first impressions. The tin note is wonderful, as pretty much every Kentucky I've ever had is. First notes of flavor. Very, very reminiscent of H.H. Bold Kentucky. Which, no complaints here. I love that blend. It's the second best blend ever made. I mean, honestly, this is so close to Bold Kentucky. I would almost call it a Bold Kentucky Ready Rubbed. It's very tasty, very strong. I'm trying to pick out some nuances that might set it apart from Bold Kentucky. It might have just a hair more Virginia in it, because Bold Kentucky does have just a little bit of Virginia in it. This might have just a skosh more. Nice creamy smoke. Very, very good. So as I said, I would go so far as to basically call this a Bold Kentucky Ready Rub. It's fantastic. And I'm not even surprised. It's basically, this is Bold Kentucky Ready Rub. I'm going to say it. Wonderful stuff. Pairs perfectly with coffee. It goes perfectly with the type of weather we're having right now, which I'll get to here in a moment. And it's just exactly what I was in the mood for. How awesome is that? You might hear some sirens in the background. Um, if you are anywhere east of the Mississippi, between the Mississippi and the Atlantic right now, it's probably a familiar sound for you. Unfortunately. Um, so, per Jensen, Dark Fired Kentucky, 9.5 out of 10. No shocker there whatsoever. It's yeah, it's fantastic. So, if you're able to find this, I'm not honestly sure if you can still, if they offer this as like a, like a regular thing or not. So far, if it were me, I'll probably buy a pound of the Burley, a pound of this, and if I'm honest, probably the Dark and Strong or the Bold and Strong, or I'm not sure what it's called. It's the other one that he did. Yeah, go out and get you some of this. It's very, very good, especially if you like dark fire Kentuckys. This has you written all over it. Oh, let's talk about what's been going on in the world. Mostly here in the States. Over the last, 3 days, we had Hurricane Helene come through, all but decimated Florida, all but completely flooded Newport, Tennessee, and I believe Asheville, North Carolina. And even though Ohio's pretty far inland, it did a hell of a number on us, as you can hear in the background, I'm sure. We were very fortunate here. I know a lot of other people in the country were not nearly as fortunate. And now everyone's calling me. You know what's hilarious? Every time I sit down to do a video, everybody wants to call me. And I'm back again. Seems that everyone wants to talk to me today. That pretty much figures. Nobody calls me ever unless I'm doing something for me. That's just how it goes. Anyway, so back to the hurricane talk. We don't get hurricane stuff hardly ever, as I'm sure you can imagine. I gotta tell you, yesterday was crazy. And I know that was just a fraction of what other states go through. Now, granted, most of those states don't get tornadoes and stuff like that. We get tornadoes all the time. So it's probably kind of comparable in the kind of getting numb to it, I guess. I would imagine that much like us here in the Midwest, those of you in the South probably get used to hurricane season. Oh yeah, it's another hurricane, whatever, We here in the Midwest are kind of the same with tornadoes. We're like, oh, tornado siren, that sounds like it's about a county north. We're fine. Oh, yesterday, for most of it, I was just sitting in the garage drinking with my buddy, with Daryl. Those of you who know Daryl. And man, we had trees just going down left and right because of the wind, and power went out around probably 3:30, 4 o'clock. And power didn't come back on till about 4 this morning. We're pretty lucky. We have a good generator, had plenty of fuel, so we were able to keep our food from spoiling and have a couple lights on and stuff like that. So we did okay. But for those of you, see, people calling me again. You see this crap? I don't know that number, so they don't get me. But that's what I'm saying. That happens every time. So annoying. So given that we don't really get hurricane weather like that, it was very, very odd and interesting, and I really feel for those of you down in the South that have to deal with this all the time, because I mean, a tornado just kind of comes in, rips through, and it's done usually within a matter of minutes. Hurricane, man, that son of a bitch stays around. If I'm honest, I prefer the tornadoes because it's like a band-aid, ripping off a band-aid real fast. Whereas a hurricane is like death by 1,000 cuts. So, for those of you that are watching this right now, if you're in those states that were far more affected than we were here, I hope you're doing well, and please reach out if you need anything, even if it's just a ear. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm a real good listener. So if you need anything, if you need to vent, bitch, complain, all in justifiable ways, I'm here. So all you got to do is message me. Uncle Sonny loves you. Remember that. Not a whole lot else is going on here. We lost Professor McGonagall, all my Harry Potter friends. Super sad. So, in addition to me probably going to end up doing a couple pork butts this weekend, so in addition to that, I'm probably going to end up watching Harry Potter in its entirety, because although you all know that I am a Lord of the Rings fanatic, I also love me some Harry Potter, so I will likely be watching that in its entirety this weekend, as well as watching my Buckeyes. That's going to be good too. No, there's a lot of people up in arms about, oh, it's only on Peacock. Oh my God, it's only on Peacock. Look, if you don't already have Peacock to watch The Office, Parks and Recreation, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and those are just 3 shows off the top of my head that are my favorites. If you don't already have it because of those shows, you're already screwing up. Throwing it out there. And yeah, there's so many streaming services out there. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the world we live in right now. That griping about it isn't going to change it. I promise you. I promise you. Just give them your money and move on. So anyway, I'll get down off of my soapbox, and I will tell you guys that I love you very much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe weekend. I hope there's not a whole lot of cleanup you have to do from that bitch Helene that just roared through and tore shit up. But if you do, please, please be safe. Power lines on the ground are very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Just be careful out there, please, for the love of God and everything that is good. Please. For me. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, but if you do, don't get caught. And don't get electrocuted either. Love you guys. See you next time.